This video will help you to complete the Michigan State University Product Center's required form to begin a Process Authority Review or a Nutrition Facts Panel project. The Process Authority Review applies only to products in a sealed container that will be sold at room temperature, such as salsa, mustard, barbecue sauce, pepper jelly, hot sauce, or a non-alcoholic beverage. To work with the MSU Product Center, you will first sign up for counseling through our website, pay an application fee, sign a confidentiality agreement, and be assigned a counselor. We will first go through the process of completing the form for a Process Authority Review. In order to make sure your product won't produce the botulism toxin, you need to complete a Process Authority Review before you apply for a license to sell this product, or before you begin production if you already have a license. If you want to sell your product in a grocery store, you need a Nutrition Facts Panel. The intake form is used for both Process Authority Review and Nutrition Facts Panels. You can order both a Process Authority Review and a Nutrition Facts Panel at the same time, or you can just order one of these services. The first step in completing this form is writing down your batch recipe. Your batch recipe should be a commercial scale recipe. This should be the recipe you plan on using on a daily basis when producing your product for commercial sales. The MSU Product Center recommends batch recipes for sauces and condiments at a minimum of 5 gallons, but you can determine the size that works for your equipment. The intake form will ask you to indicate the size and material of the container you would like to sell your product in, usually plastic or glass. Your form should be typed and not handwritten. Visit a library if you need help typing your form. The form will require you to list all of the ingredients. The heaviest item listed first works best. Remember, you have signed a confidentiality agreement with the MSU Product Center that protects your recipe as a trade secret. Please list the brand name of each ingredient on the form. If you are using fresh produce, we don't need to know the store where you purchased the item. But we do need to know the variety of produce. For example, green bell peppers chopped or red onions sliced. List all ingredients. There are 2 pages if you need them. We also need to know the weight of each ingredient. We can't use cups, gallons, or fluid ounces. We prefer all weights listed in grams because it is more accurate. Use a food scale when weighing ingredients. Use the tare button to zero out the scale when the empty container is on the scale. Add the product you are measuring, in this case we are measuring salt. Then write down the readings on the scale. Again, we prefer grams. You may need to use a larger scale if you are weighing heavier ingredients like oil. Again, use the tare button to zero out the scale with the container on the scale. Add the oil and write down the readings in grams or ounces. On the 3rd page of the form, list the steps of your process for making your item. You should start with how you sanitize your container. Be sure to include cooking times and temperatures. For example, cook the product in a commercial grade oven at 325 degrees Fahrenheit for 120 minutes. Include the steps on how you will package your product. For example, will you hot fill, seal the container by hand, and invert for 1 minute? List all of these steps. If you want the MSU Product Center to create a Nutrition Facts label for your product, please complete the last page of the form. Find the appropriate section for your product and add the additional information as requested on the form. The cost of Nutrition Facts labels is approximately $250 to $500 per label. It is based on the staff time it takes to complete the work, and it varies on how complex the recipe is. Submit your completed form to your counselor via email. If you are requesting a Process Authority Review, after your form is submitted by your counselor, you will be emailed an invoice by the MSU Product Center's business manager requesting payment of $125 in order to get the PAR process started. You must submit payment so work can begin. Payment is made online. After our staff reviews your intake form and your invoice has been paid, you will be emailed instructions for submitting a full sample of your product and a partial sample. A partial sample means that some ingredients will be left out. Make sure you are checking all folders for email messages from MSU Product Center team members. Several different team members are involved in this process. You should submit at least 12 ounces of a full and partial sample to make sure we have enough product for multiple tests. You do not need to submit samples in the container they will be sold in. Do not make samples in advance of receiving instructions. Full and partial samples should be made at the same time. They should then be sent to the MSU Food Processing and Innovation Center in Okemos soon after the samples are made. We do not accept samples on the weekend. Make sure all samples are labeled with your company name, name of the product, the date it was made, and if it is a full or partial sample. View the next video in this series for additional steps related to product testing.